Water Pokémon. By far, my favorite of the bunch, but certainly also the most confusing. When I first started Pokemon Blue around 20 or so years ago, my brother and I shared a save file. We of course fused our names together for our trainer and decided that Squirtle would make the best starter for us. He had the coolest glasses in the anime after all. And since we didn't get the game at launch, that definitely pulled a lot of weight in the decision. Battle after battle, we swept our foes away and claimed victory almost every time. However, as a child, I really never stopped to think about the power that our Blastoise wielded. Where was all the water coming from? Why did water Pokemon have the ability to continually spray it, whereas it was definitely more than their own bodies could contain? And, as I came to realize, all of this amounted to something quite dangerous about this entire process. But before we dive into the nitty-gritty of things, there are a few things we should probably cover. Water Pokemon of all kinds have the ability to manifest water from seemingly nowhere. To say their water is stored somewhere inside their body wouldn't make much sense at all. In the games, using the Surf ability definitely summons more water than any one Pokemon could hold. Heck, even a Snorlax using Metronome still wouldn't have enough output to flood an entire area, and smack an opponent with a mini tsunami. So where does all this water come from? Some people argue that perhaps it comes from the atmosphere. But even then, if this amount of water was somehow mustered from the immediate area, the landscape should be transformed into a water-deprived wasteland, before immediately being flooded by its own water. Plants would probably still die in the process if it really had that big of a water draw. But even then, I really don't think the area would yield this much water unless it acts as a cloud in the sky, or some sort of deep underground water table. Besides, you can use Surf anywhere, whether you're in a forest, town, or even several floors up within a corporation's building. The area floods regardless, even with Surf set aside. Abilities like Hydro Pump and Water Gun still require tons of water to execute. As Pokemon continue to evolve as a series, the weather started to play integral parts in performance in battle. Weather conditions like harsh sunlight, or extremely harsh sunlight via the ability Desolate Land, reduce or completely nullify water abilities, causing the water to evaporate. So, the water is still being summoned there, it is just being cancelled out or decreased in the process. But again, where is it coming from? About the only plausible methods would be that it is somehow being created on the spot, or it is being pulled from another dimension. Other dimensions certainly exist in the Pokemon universe, but on the same front, so does Kyogre. Kyogre has the power to expand the oceans, which would involve water creation at an insanely large level. If Kyogre has the power to do this on a world-class scale, why wouldn't water Pokemon who share common roots have the ability to do it at a smaller scale? Most of us have seen pretty funny memes online where Pokemon and Ash's party should have rightfully been able to solve the situation they were in. If you're dying of thirst in the desert, why wouldn't you drink your Pokemon's endless water supply? Well, probably because it may kill you in the long run. Now, that may be a bit of an over-exaggeration, but there may definitely be some dangers in Pokemon magically creating water. I'd imagine if water was being created somehow on the spot, it would be the purest form of water possible, just straight up hydrogen and oxygen. And the purest, most raw form of water is actually quite dangerous. This plays into a property of water called tenacity. As Wikipedia puts it, tenacity is a measure of the effective osmotic pressure gradient, as defined by the water potential of two solutions separated by a membrane. For those who don't extensively study biophysics, myself obviously included, this probably left you scratching your head. To simplify things, iScienceMag.co breaks it down a little for us. Tenacity is the ability of a solution to draw or repel water from adjacent solutions when separated by a membrane. Solutions that are hypertonic gain water, while hypotonic solutions lose water. Pure water that people drink really isn't absolute pure water. Stuff like that is really only utilized in labs because water is never really chemically pure in nature. It is constantly absorbing minerals and other things it touches. So even when we filter stuff out of the water, it doesn't make it 100% pure. As soon as water touches something, it already starts pulling in any minerals it can, and this is what provides the flavor of the water. According to thehigherlearning.com and National Geographic, ultra pure water will pull the minerals out of your blood. It would cause your body's cells to continually absorb water until they eventually burst, which is quite grim. Heck, perfect pure water will even strip the copper off the inside of a pipe. And just to reiterate, this pure water we are talking about is nothing you buy in a bottle or find in any lake on Earth. Nor will your household water filter do this. It's important to understand this because if water Pokemon were creating water, there's a chance it could very well be this pure water. Drinking this water would harm whoever did so, and if they drank it repeatedly over time, serious health issues could arise. Of course, this is Pokemon we're talking about though, and if this were truly pure water coming out from these Pokemon, then you wouldn't see any of those fancy electric attacks rotting up the water streams, since pure water is a very bad conductor. It's the minerals and elements inside of water that make it conduct electricity. So if this was the case, water Pokemon would actually have a good defense against electricity upon immediately expelling it. Shortly after, the water would start pulling in minerals and improve its conductivity. And that's why the water is so dangerous. Kidding, of course, let's actually swing over to the bigger issue here. If water is being created or sourced from an infinite pool of water somewhere, this also means that the environment is in danger. If there are millions of water Pokemon across the world, and each one is capable of adding water to the environment, then each and every day, the world of Pokemon is becoming closer and closer to that movie called Waterworld. So, unless people develop gills like our good old friend Kevin Costner did, the entire world's sea level would eventually rise to submerge the land. Beyond this, weather in general in the Pokemon universe is super dangerous as weather is created and dispatched all the time in Pokemon battles across the land. If you have thousands of battles taking place with the weather changing all the time, surely the atmosphere is going to go a tad crazy from all the pressure changes. The only barrier of defense that prevents all this water chaos from potentially happening is Kyogre, and their efforts to balance the water of the world. Actually, I take that back. According to the description of this Pokemon, it says that Kyogre has the power to expand oceans, but it doesn't say anything about contracting them. Without the ability to remove water, things grow grim. And on top of this, we all spend our time trying to capture this rare Pokemon so we can keep it in a Pokeball and store it in our digital collection. If Kyogre is removed from the ocean and converted to data to be stored in the Pokemon storage system, then there is no one watching the oceans. There is nothing running environmental checks and balances for the water of the world. And through repeated process, the world is slowly drowning, one super effective surf hit at a time. Best grab your water wings, Pokemon trainers. I surely hope you do like swimming. But now that I dumped that on all of you, I'd of course love to hear your thoughts. Where do you think the water comes from in regards to the water Pokemon? Do you think they create pure water, or is it some other variant? And lastly, what are your thoughts on the world flooding due to all this creation of water? I'd love to hear your own personal theory on all of this, so let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And with that, thanks for tuning in to this seaside trip into an ever-growing ocean. If you'd like to join me on my YouTube voyage and continue to break down the Pokemon universe, then the subscribe button is just what you're looking for. Thanks for watching, guys and gals, and until my next video, cheers. If you like this video, perhaps you'll enjoy some of my others. From your favorite indie titles to some Nintendo classics. Be sure to subscribe, as there's a slew of other theories on this channel too. So regardless, I hope you enjoy.